Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to Coffee Talk! Alright, so this is kind of a spontaneous coffee talk. This is something I discovered today, and I just had to share it with you. And if you just want to skip my take on it, because, you know, Coffee Talk is also known as, I watched the documentary so you don't have to. And, so, you know, if you want to skip my take on this topic and go straight to the source, there's a great little short video that I put in my liked video section on this topic if you just want to watch theirs. But I thought I would hip you to this because I found it so interesting. It's kind of mind-boggling. But it's about a product known as 666 Cold Remedy. Now, I gotta say, I've never in my life, and I'm in the 50s now here, I'm over half a century old, and I have never in my life heard of 666 Cold Remedy. But apparently, this product has been around for more than 100 years. And that it was sold nationwide, and there's a lot of people that swear by it, and I've never heard of it. Now, in case you don't know me, you might find this interesting, that I don't claim to be a know-it-all. I do not know everything. That is impossible, really, for anyone to know everything. But if you were to pull me as a group of 100 people off the street and say to this group of 100 people, we're going to give you $100 if you can answer the most questions of anyone here on general topics of discussion. Who thinks there's... And I would already have my hand up, because my kids tell me I should be on Jeopardy because I'm one of those people that knows a little bit about everything. And that my general knowledge, and it's one of the reasons why I think people like this channel is because I know a little bit about everything. So I think I would have ran across 666 cold medicine since my entire life, since my childhood, because I was raised in a Pentecostal home. The number 666 scares me to death. I mean, it doesn't anymore, but as a kid, I was like, it's 666. I think I would have noticed cold medicine on the shelf with 666. Well, they say it was a Southern thing. And in these videos on this cold medicine, you can see old photographs from the 30s and the 20s and 30s with, 666 cold remedy on the side of buildings, or the big tins that they used to put on buildings. Oil companies, Mobil Oil, people like that, when they would put up these metal advertisements on the side of buildings. And they had this 666 logo. I would have noticed that this medicine was up until just recently apparently for sale on the internet, that you could buy it, and that this company, Monticello Drug Company, has been making this product all along. Mandela effect! Mandela effect! Red alert, Mandela effect! I'm sorry, I've never heard of this medicine, and I'm a bit of a know-it-all. And you know what? I don't claim to know everything, but I think I wouldn't have missed this one for a few reasons. One, the number obviously would have scared the shoes off of me, and I would have been more interested in it. Two, I'm a student of history, and the lady that did this video that I liked in my like section, she ran across this anomaly, I'm going to call it, when she was doing research on Robert Johnson, the famous bluesman who purportedly sold his soul to the devil for the power to play the rock and roll guitar. Don't. Some say he invented rock and roll. Is it really the devil's music? Well, back to the 666. So I think I would have ran across that myself, like this lady, if this had existed. So many old books, so many old photographs. I mean, a guy who's made a lot of album covers. I've done a lot of album covers, mine and other people's. And I was in on this whole graphic art, computer chicanery, from the very get-go. I mean, one of the coolest things I ever did is, and this was clear back in the 90s, is we pulled separate photographs of various band members in different settings, pulled their images off of black and white photos, took an old black and white photo from the 1800s and inserted our band into the setting and then colorized everything to make it all look like a colorized black and white photo from the time. And we all looked like we'd been time travelers from the past, and we were doing this in the early 90s. So, yeah, this is this is interesting. I would have ran across 666 Cold Remedy in some of those old photographs. We went through hundreds of old photographs in those projects. So I think it's a Mandela effect. There are people like us, like me, and probably you, who've never heard of 666 Cold Remedy. And there's also some weirdness about the person that made it and how it got its name. Apparently it got its name because it was offered to the patent office with no name, and it was patent number 666. So that's how it got its name. Fishy, fishy, fishy. And then there's this weirdness that the guy is a guy named Palmer. Dr. Palmer is the guy that apparently invented this cold remedy. And Dr. Palmer was a weird kind of Frankenstein kind of doctor, and he did experiments on corpses, and he was just a general weirdo, apparently. A Freemason whose best friend was a guy named Poltergeist. And apparently the house that Palmer lived in, there was some blood that was spattered on the wall in an argument between him and his friend Poltergeist. You can't make this stuff up. This is crazy. This blood on the wall, you can't wash it off. And then you wash it off and it goes away, it comes back. This blood on the wall, you can still go to this day and see the blood on the wall at Palmer's house. The Frankenstein doctor that made 666 Cold Remedy. Don't. Wow. So check it out. It's trippy. 666 cold medicine. I think I would have heard of it. I think we have slipped in the dimensions here. The whole Mandela effect thing that was a coffee talk, I'm starting to think it's real. How many of you really feel like we've stepped into some kind of alternate reality? Really, I don't know, since 2012? And there's this whole thing where people think the world ended in 2012, and now we're in a simulation, and that's why things aren't exactly right. And that's why some people remember 666 cold medicine and other people don't. I think I wouldn't have missed that. I just can't see how I missed that. Even if it was a Southern thing, well, apparently it was still being used in the 80s, and I lived down in Texas for 30 years, and I never heard of the 666 cold medicine. Have you heard of it? Have you ever tried it? Or is this a Mandela effect? Is this because of what happened in CERN? Have they slipped the dimensions? I'm in the Matrix! Help me! I'm in the Matrix!